Hi everyone, and welcome back to CCS's Talking Cafes. It's been a long time since I've hosted one of these and I'm quite nervous. But today we have the brilliant Priscilla from Two Generations, and she's got amazing presentation to show you all on what Two Generations is. Sorry about that, I should have put my phone on silent first. So when you're ready, Priscilla, you take it away.
Thanks, Kissy. You're doing a great job anyways. My name is Priscilla Young. Hi, everyone. So I'm from an organization called Two Generations CIC, and we are a social enterprise that focus on pairing people up within the same household so that they can have overnight presence with each other, companionship, and the ultimate aim is to relieve people from loneliness. We operate on a national level, including the Somerset area, so we definitely is very looking forward to speaking to all of you. Let me launch straight into our presentation so that we can start discussing what we do. So I hope you can all see my presentation. I'm going to turn it up. Yeah, that should work. So this is our logo, Two Generations. In the past, when we first launched, we focus a lot on older people. We match older people with a spare room who is suffering from loneliness or really want somebody to be staying in the spare room in their house or flat with a younger person who we call a home sharer. However, as you know, COVID has changed many of our lifestyles and the way we interact with people. So there are some updates from the work we are doing at Two Generations at the moment as well. And I will give you more insight into that as I present. So we normally work very closely with social prescribers with NHS, but we have now expanded as well. We will work with all sorts of different charities and also organizations, as well as individual marketing campaigns as well. So we sponsored the Social Prescribing Link Worker Conference, and we hope to work closer with social prescribers going forward. So let's see generally how does this work. We have two categories of people. One is the householder, i.e. the person with a spare room, as well as the home sharer, which is a person who will move into the house. And what they do is that they will spare up around 10 hours per week to help out around the house, become friends with the householder. And in exchange, it will be a cheaper price to stay in the accommodation. What are the typical things that we see a home sharer do in the household, apart from hanging out together, really build up the friendship, is that we have things like cooking, we'll help out with food shopping, because if we're getting heavy, it will be harder for the householder if they're old to carry them. And then we have IT skills. This has become really popular during COVID times because and people are unable to see their family members that easily and in person. So the younger person can help out with launching Zoom, for example, so that they can have a chat. And there will be other things like gardening, pet sitting, depends on the need of the householder. And obviously you'll see that in this particular slide, I was talking about old person and a younger person, but during COVID, we actually expand our coverage of work a lot. We don't only work with older people now, we also work with people who might be younger, but recently bereaved because of COVID. We have lost around 300,000 people, or 300,000 people has become recently bereaved as a result of COVID. So it is a big issue that we acknowledge. We also have householders who are disabled that needs a little bit of help around the house. So our youngest householder now is actually just 27 years old, which is a very, very good news to see that how flexible home sharing is in benefiting multiple level of people with different needs and improve their mental health, well-being, and physical health and independence, really. So let's talk about our mission. Our mission, the reason we started a Two Generations home sharing is because we address the fact that a lot of people is suffering from loneliness. And this doesn't only go with people who are older or people with disability, but also young people who are, say, living and working in the urban cities. They also feel the same. Loneliness is affecting almost everyone in the UK and the world right now. We also address the fact that there is a health and social care funding cuts, which means it's actually easier for people, if they could, to live in their own home, age and really enjoy and build up a lifestyle within their own home. So we wanted them to be able to live independently. That might just mean when the light bulb, for example, is off, someone is able to help you to change the light bulb. That is going to improve the living standard a lot and improve independence. Yeah, absolutely. And then we also want to address the fact that rent is quite expensive at the moment. I'm based in Brighton, and we were talking that actually on average rent takes up 2/3 of our income. This is very high. And then we'll go on to talk about the pricing, and you realize how affordable this is. Yeah. And then the last thing is that we have a lot of carers that are working under pressure right now. They're definitely overdoing what they're supposed to do. Say they're doing personal care, medication, washing, bathing, but then they end up doing other things that everyone else can actually do, including, as I said, changing light bulbs, having a
recycling.
Recycling, is that really common? Yeah. Because it's heavy, I guess. So we want to support carers.
In Somerset, in South Somerset, they've introduced an extra recycling bag, which is causing some anxiety to our older clients, because it's another thing that they have to think about and carry out and things. So it sounds like a really good idea that you've got.
Yeah, definitely. And then there will be a quick slide in the later bit to tell you how actually home sharing can complement the carers' work, so they can coexist together. I will skip this particular. We wanted to start by saying how careful we are with safeguarding. It's a big thing for us to make sure that people we work with who are deemed vulnerable to take in the best care upfront as possible. And one of our founders is a social worker in London, so she knows all about this, and we stick to our protocol very carefully. So that's number 1 and 2, which is police checks and references. They are just the legal stuff that we always do, and you probably is all over it. But then more important is the number 3 to 5. We have very detailed, like a 10-page form for home sharer. We don't want the home sharer, i.e. the person moving in, to be just like taking advantage of the very affordable accommodation, but also actually have a passion and compassion to befriend and take care of the person, giving up their own spare room to them. We'll have video interview with the home sharers before we even arrange any sort of meeting to check that they're suitable to have an interview. And then before they sign any contract and move in, the householder will have a chance to meet the home sharer, so that they in the past it will be physical meeting up, and now it could be over Zoom. It depends on the vaccine level, etc. And obviously during COVID, we become really cautious about how do we make sure that this can proceed in a safely measure. So I will move on. I wouldn't go through exact step by step of how we do things here at Two Generations, but we wanted to show that before someone moves into the household, a lot of care and careful vetting, as well as a legal safeguarding measure are being done. First of all, on number 1, we wanted to note that most of our clients come from a referral process from social prescribers, charities, perhaps with CCS. And we have now done a lot of marketing campaign as well. So you might have seen us on BBC before, and also on BBC Radio, ITV News. So from there, we have a lot of older people directly giving us a call. And the other form that we get clients is from the family member of the householder. So they would give us a call. There's nothing really extensive about it. Just a one-liner email is fine, or just directly giving us a phone call. Then we will talk through it. What do we do at home sharing with you, and see whether it's suitable for you or not. In the past, we will visit them in the house just to double check that the spare room is in good condition and also understand what the requirements are. Now it's obviously a little bit difficult because of COVID, but it's actually helpful because we can extend our reach to much further places with Zoom calls, like virtual meeting calls. And then we do a lot of legal things and using our technology to find the right home sharer and a householder to match together. Number 6 is that you will get to meet and get to know the chosen home sharer that we recommend you to see whether you get on. It is hard to live within the same household. And just because someone is also from Somerset doesn't mean that automatically they will gel well together. And we totally understand that. That's why we do so much work upfront to understand your hobbies, your interests, your everyday lifestyle kind of things. So you get to meet each other. Hopefully, you will be a great match and you just can't wait to move in with each other. But if not, if you decide not to go ahead, which we understand and there's no pressure at all. But thank God if you're able to continue with us, then we'll do referencing checks, legal, signing the contract. And there's also a 1-month trial period. You guys will move in together, see whether it works or not. Because after all, sometimes we talk about everything, but in reality, it might not work. So far, I would say that, though, in our experience, our vetting process is so careful and extensive. Everyone has moved on from the trial period successfully.
It looks amazing.
Go ahead. What is on a second?
It looks amazing. It looks so thorough, and like you said, you're very much at the front of safeguarding people and the fact that they get a month's trial as well, because obviously people don't know what it's going to be like to have another person in their home and how that's going to sit. So to know that you have got that 4 weeks to get used to the idea, and if it's not suitable, you can terminate.
Out. Yeah. Absolutely. We appreciate that, especially when we first started this model. Older people aren't really having flatmates even when they were younger. Now it's quite common for, say, university students to go to uni and then stay in a house, share with loads of strangers and new friends. But this is not a really common thing in the past. And so we really want to address that. And also we wanted to know that if the match doesn't go ahead, and no match, no fee. So we wouldn't charge anything until the home sharing continues. And most important is on number 11. We appreciate that even if you continue to live, things could change, especially with older people and people with disability issues. The condition will continue to change. And we wanted to be able to support them. Say, we have one case where we match a person with early dementia. However, the dementia situation symptoms has gone a lot worse over the time. And that means that they might need a full-time carer, or they need to move into a different level of care service. Aging or any form of care is always a journey, and we acknowledge that. And that's why we are just a phone call away to...
So there's always that continued support then. There's always somebody at the end of the phone for either the person living with that person or the homeowner as well. So that's
absolutely.
Really, so they never feel out sort of on a limb sort of thing. Yeah.
You're right. It's on both sides as well. We don't just only focus on the householder, but the home sharer will also constantly check in. Even if there's no problems, say if they're super peaceful, every month or so, we'll give them a call. And every 6 months, we'll do a survey to check that whether the loneliness level has improved, whether the independence has also got enhanced. So we wanted to show everyone that home sharing is a probable option with a very visible results in improving the mission and the issues that we try to solve here in the society.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the particular discussion on carers. I feel that carers are definitely suffering a lot. It sounds like with the new recycling bins and everything, which is really not what carers are trained to do. Because what I understand that their personal care is actually a very, very unique area that you do need to be qualified to do that. And things like taking out the bins, getting food shopping, etc. These are things that everyone else can do, and we wanted to relieve the burnt out level of carers. So carers will provide the things that they are expected to do, such as medication, feeding, washing, bathing, lifting. And the home sharer will not do any of this because they are very, very specialist work. They will provide company, cooking, food shopping, and everything around the house, and companionship. And sometimes they will drive them to the clinic as well if it's required. So it should be working alongside. So the person who have solicited a home sharer to be in their house can still have a carer that come and visit them in the requirements. It could be daily or weekly. It depends what is required. So this is something that we want to be very clear, that home sharer is not assuming the role of a carer, but to work alongside them. So here we wanted to know, we are not a charity, we are a social enterprise, i.e. we set up it as a scalable and sustainable business with a social good intention in mind. So we do charge a cost for our services, and it will only start until the two people have moved in together, and this support our staff costs in doing the matching, referencing, and all the safeguarding, as well as ongoing support of the pair of home sharers. So the standard, I would look at this particular line. If you look at my cursor, it's a 10-hour per week kind of service. So the young person or the home sharer will commit to the 10-hour service per week. And this will, what kind of stuff do they do together or help out will be agreed upfront in the contract. So we wanted to make sure that the expectation is managed and they know what they're going to really be doing together once the person has moved in. For the householder, i.e. the person with the spare room, they will be giving around £99 per month. And then for the home sharer, it will be £249 per month. So for that, if you recall our initial mission statement, it is to combat the unaffordable rent that we are experiencing. And this is a lot cheaper for the young person. We wanted to note also that it is not a rental agreement. By law, home sharing is carved out and it is called a license to occupy. So this £249 is not a rent. I just want to be making sure that this is legally clear. Both fees will be payable to us, to generations, as an ongoing support fee. And there's no match, and then there will be no fee. Some people might ask, we have got asked this before, if you're a householder living on your own, previously you would have enjoyed a 25% council tax discount for being a solo household. But if you have someone moved in to the house, then you are not solo anymore. So that 25% discount will be off. We wanted to note that if this has become a problem, we will flag that upfront with the contract. Say, for example, the extra cost become extra £30 per month on the council tax. We'll reduce the householder cost to £69 and then increase this to £279, for example. So that what we wanted to do and what I was trying to say here is that we try to make sure no one is worse off, number one. And second is that between the householder and a home sharer, there's no money crossing hands. It's very important because householder, what we normally consider to be relatively vulnerable, we wanted to eliminate the risk or reduce the risk as much as possible that there's money involved and then it becomes very complicated. So we have thought about this, and this also not only on council tax, but also on electricity bill, etc., for example. And this will be all discussed upfront in part of the 11 steps that we were doing, as I showed you before. Really rely on the referral from NHS, council, public, social enterprise, social prescribers, and all the other charities. And the referral is obviously free, and we just wanted to get our word across. Kissy, do you have any question on this particular slide? I know that sometimes many people who are considering referring to us are very curious about this.
Well, I think you've provided all the information that I wanted to know, which was what I knew there was a monthly charge to it. I just wanted to know what you would be providing for that, and it just sounds like the ongoing support. So and obviously like eliminating the risks of financial abuse and things like that, and all the safeguarding stuff you do as well. And it is worth noting as well, if you end up having to go down the route of a living carer, the cost to that is significantly higher than what you're proposing here. And obviously a living carer does provide a specialist role, but if you are an elderly person that is looking, is independent but are looking for that companionship, and like you said, the things like getting on step ladders to put in lights and things like that, that eliminates that risk of falls and things. So I actually think it's a really, really good concept and idea, and it's nice to know that it's working well, in other areas of the UK, and hopefully we have a huge lack of care providers, both micro providers and agency in South Somerset. So to know that this could be a successful alternative is really reassuring, particularly for myself, who work very closely with adult social care in supporting elderly and vulnerable and people with learning difficulties as well. So yeah, thank you.
No worries. I totally agree. What I see, I do a lot of research on care, and what we would see home sharing sitting in the wide range of service being provided is that before you jump straight into having a carer, either dropping by or have a living carer, our question is, do you actually need, what kind of support do you need? And this probably come in a slightly earlier stage where you're still independent, you have a good social life, but then you want someone to be in the house so that you have someone to watch Strictly Come Dancing with, and then or maybe have some dinner together.
And particularly now more than ever, like you said, with the elderly feeling so isolated and lonely during COVID, it really makes a world of difference. I mean, as village agents, community agents now are really seeing the effects of what loneliness and isolation has done to people living in isolated communities. So to know that this could be a real lifeline to them if they had that spare room, and so hopefully a lot more people would take on this idea, and it will thrive in South Somerset.
Thank you. Definitely. Just one last line that I forgot to mention earlier is that we do have a bursary scheme for the householder. This is particularly, we wanted to note that because we appreciate that the cost of care is expensive, and if you are in financial difficulties, we don't want to preclude them from enjoying and benefiting from our service. As such, we do have a bursary scheme that is by discretion. So if you contact us, if you refer to us, or if you are a person with financial difficulties but really, really would like to have someone living with you, please do contact us in the first instance, where we'll see whether we can sort something out with you. This is something that our founder take very serious note of.
That's really great. That is, I think you've done a brilliant job. Your presentation is spot on. I think you've answered so many questions and really give it a well thought out explanatory presentation there. So thank you so much for coming on. You've really made my job really easy today by coming up with all these, and hopefully as I said to you earlier, that these talking cafes remain online now, and people can come back and visit them and see what it is you're about, and like you said, email you or contact you via phone to just check in and see if there is a way that you guys could work together, because that really does sound as though the client is the main aim of it is to find a solution to people's problems within housing. So it's always worth giving you a phone call by the sounds of things.
Definitely. And I think we have given you already the contact details of us. You feel free to give us a call anytime, email us. You always get a person to discuss with you what really home sharing is about, as well as all the other questions you might have. We don't mind repeating ourselves. We don't mind making you feel comfortable before taking a big step into home sharing. We appreciate that it is quite new, like having someone to move into your house suddenly. So it's definitely care all the way.
What you were saying earlier about our generation of people, they will flat share and things like that, but that, for an older person, that wouldn't have been the case. So it is a completely new idea to them, and a real innovative one, really, a great concept that you've got there. But thank you so much, Priscilla, for coming on and doing a brilliant presentation, and hopefully we can have you back on next time, and you can say how successful that you've been in Somerset.
Definitely. If we have some great case studies around the area, we'll definitely see we can invite them as well. They are really, really excited. We have home sharers that are so excited about this particular venture that they want to tell more people about it. So we actually have these pairs going on BBC before, and then again over radio show, etc. So hopefully we'll expand to Somerset, and then we'll share more with you how their experience have been.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for tuning in today, and if you're watching back, thank you. We really appreciate all your comments and things like that. If you pop them in the comment section, and we can review them and see how we can guide you along the way with being put in touch with Two Generations as well. As always, if you need any village agent support, contact us. The details, which Annette will pop into the comment section, of how you can refer to our service as well. And thanks everyone for tuning in today and watching. Take care. Bye.
Bye.